Hello everyone, this is Byron. I hope you all are doing great as always. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to overclock the RTX 5060. What we have here is the Asus Dual RTX 5060, and it has the option to actually unlock the power limit to 110%. Some other brands may have it only to 103%. Some others may be limited to the stock TDP that is 100%. It won't go more, and the power limit slider. There's two methods to overclock. One is by doing a curve edit. Two is by just increasing the cool clock and the memory clock. So first method is like the fastest. You can just firstly move the slider and the power limit to the absolute maximum. For me, we can move it up to 110. And then for the frequency, for the memory clock, it can go up to 3000 on that card, but from what I've tested is that increasing it more than like say 1850 doesn't really get you that much of an FPS difference. Doesn't get you any a noticeable gains from my perspective. It's about like 1 to 2 FPS at max if it happened even. So you can try 2000 or 2200 on the memory clock, see the difference between it and 1850. It might be beneficial to you. So here I'll just apply 1850. As for the memory, I don't know the power limit. And as for the core, on that card I could go up to 450, but I wouldn't recommend that. For beginners, you just wanna for the beginning on the overclocking here, you just wanna move it to 250. And test it out using, like, for instance, Superposition benchmark. Like here, 1 second. You could choose the preset on the 4K optimized, and you can test it out on 250 memory clock plus and 1850. On the stock settings, on Superposition benchmark on 4K optimized, I get about 10,500. All right, under the 145 power limit. But when I increase the power limit and I put more cool clock, of course, score will be more. So the stock is 10,500. If I run a test here, second, let me open up the monitoring tab. All right. So as you can see, the frequency on the GPU is about 2960, goes to 70. By stock, it's about 2700 while it's boosting. So we added about 250 S plus on the core. The power usage is 160 watts and the frequency is applied. So I will fast forward the test for you just so you can see the final score. And just remember, the stock settings are 10,500 on that card. Also, the recording might affect the overall score a little bit. I'm not entirely sure, but you might get more without recording. Also, that setting on the GPUs that don't have a power limit option, it's limited on 100% or even 103%, you can still achieve the 250 on the core with that kind of frequency. You can also do an undervolt, which we will discuss later in the video, and it just like gives you the highest possible performance under the least possible power consumption, so you get also less temperature, which is ideal for long-term scenarios because the card won't be overheating. The VRAM temperature would be good. You can test the temperature of the VRAM also using the HW Info program, hardware info. It's pretty a useful application or program. So as you can see, the core is increased from 10,500 stock settings. You can test it out at stock settings and you'll see the same number, 10,500. And while we just did the overclock of 250 on the core, 1,850 on the memory, of course, bar limited being unlocked, we got ourselves about 700 more points. Those are equivalent of about like say 6 to 7% more performance uplift. The more you put on the core here, the more performance you get. So we can increase the core clock up to 350, 400, and at times some cards can even handle it up to 450 on the core. This card can handle it, and I can just show you on that test. But of course, guys, a simple superposition 4K test or even extreme on 1080p wouldn't be always enough. You'd have to test it in games, in demanding games like Cyberpunk 2077 or other games, and test its stability. 450 is a bit more. We can try it out and see for ourselves. And I will also I'll let you see the numbers for yourselves, and I'll put the video on 2x or 3x until it finishes testing, so that you can see the final score as well here. As you can see, the frequency is at 3,127, goes to 3,112. On the 450 plus on the core. And as you can see, the power consumption is 160 watts, stays at this number most of the time, goes down to 159, goes back up to 160. And the frequency, as you can see, at times drops below 3,000. That is because the card is hitting a power cap. So, of course, guys, that's when the curve editor comes in. You can achieve more performance under this less voltage consumption or power consumption. So here the temperature is at 72 degrees Celsius, 73 degrees Celsius. That card handles the temperature very well, even when you are power unlocking it to 110%. That's fascinating. Also, I've tested the VRAM chip's temperature on that card. It wasn't even going to more than 65, 64 degrees Celsius. That was pretty good to me. And it has a thermal junction of about 100 or 105. So you're safe, like even if you hit 70s, 80s, or even 90s, but try to keep it in maximum 80s degrees Celsius. So that's, for the long term, it doesn't like thermal throttle or anything if it gets some dust on it or under some temperature condition in your room or in the PC. You also have to pay attention for the minimum FPS, and you can also unlock the 1% lows and MSI Afterburner. If you've noticed heavy 1% lows and minimum FPS being too low for you, maybe causing stuttering at times, it might be due to the core clock being a bit high, so you'd have to drop it down a bit. Alright, so as you can see now, the score is 11,600. Maximum FPS 103, and the average is 86.74. So that's literally, guys, more than, let's say, no, not more than, it's actually about 10% more performance over our stock settings. Now, I'm gonna head up and play with the curve editor here so that I can show you the maximum overclock setting that I could apply on that card, while as well keeping the power consumption less. So we can move the memory clock again to 1850, and the power limit to 110. Click apply, then open the curve editor by pressing Ctrl plus F on your keyboard. Now you'd see voltage at the bottom and frequency at the left side. So for those of you, if you want to like decrease the power limit to like 120 watts, for instance, if you want the card to run super cool, if you have the card running on hot temperatures, you can choose the 975 millivolt mark, and by holding down shift key on your keyboard and increase it to like 2800 or 2850, and then release it, press press the shift button again on your keyboard and hold the left click on your mouse, keep on pressing on shift, then align all the dots at the right of the mark that you've just held to put above to the desired frequency. Hold the dot that you wanna, hold the dot at its right, and put it at the absolute bottom of the list, and then click apply. The curve will get flattened, and then you can redo the test, see the temperature, the power consumption, and all of that. But for us here, we wanna get the maximum performance, right? So, or for me at least. So yeah, I've applied the power limit again and the frequency, the memory clock, Control F, and choose 1025 millivolt. That's the sweet spot I found under the many tests I've done on that card using the Cyberpunk 2077 and some other games, testing programs as well. So yeah, 1025 millivolts. You click on it, hold down Shift key and left click, hold down left click and move it upwards until you reach, like for instance, I could get it up to 3234. Then hold down Shift key again, hold down and hold the left click on your mouse, drag the dot on the right to the bottom, click apply, it gets flattened, it gets saved, and then you can click double click your left click on the mouse anywhere in that tab so that you can remove the blue thing here, and then you can redo the test. All right, you can redo the test again, get back, 4K optimized, run. I'll also fast forward the video for you guys so that you can see the final score and the total power consumption within the test, the total frequency also within the test. Here, needless to say, the frequency is actually 30 to 40 megahertz more, as it used to be 3100 or 3112 goes to 20 at max. Now it's giving you 30 to 40 frequency more, and it's not always staying at 160 watts power consumption. It does go to that at times, even if it mostly doesn't stay at 160, which is something I prefer, especially for 1% lows. If the card is bar capped, it happens to me at times. And the temperature stays cool, of course, 72 degrees Celsius at a fan speed of 62%. And of course, you can play with the voltage, the melee volt of curve editor, and the frequency. You can try 1000 or 1020, 1015 on the frequency of 3180 or 3190, and test it in games and superposition and maybe 3D mark, nomad test its stability and final score. And if it crashed, caused any types of stutters, maybe any artifacts on the screen, you can just like head back to the MSI Afterburner, maybe restart your PC if it froze, and click on the reset button on the left of the apply button, and drop the frequency a little bit down under that same millivolt if you want to stick to that. But if you want the absolute maximum performance, you can just move on to a higher millivolt mark, like say from 1010 to 1025, maybe at times even 1035, but I wouldn't recommend that. I see the 1025 to be the max we can go to, as it certainly consumes 157 watts here to 160 at max at that type of frequency that you're seeing on the screen. All right, guys, as you can see, we got about 100, maybe 150 more score here on our card, with actually less power consumption and more frequency on the core. You can even get more than that with increasing the memory clock to 2000, 2200, but it will be minimal gains, as I've told you before. And also the recording using the video recorder actually consumes a little bit of resources here. Might play with the score here, but that's about it. We are now achieving more than actually 10% performance uplift on that card using simple overclocking, and it's actually pretty stable. It won't harm your GPU. Have been doing overclocks for the past 10 years. My GTX 1080 Ti on the Asus ROG Strix still alive, frankly, and with heavy overclocks that I was doing with on the memory and cool clock as well. So that's about it. And I hope I have helped you in a way. And yeah, I forgot to tell you something. That score is actually about the same as an RTX 5060 Ti at stock settings. So if you have a 5060, you don't have to get a 5060 Ti. Well, you can overclock your card, get it as the same performance as the 5060 Ti. Maybe if you're thinking of an upgrade to a 5070 or maybe a 5070 Ti, get more raw performance as well as a VRAM. Thank you.